Welcome back, folks. Sheepdog Smokey here, and you can hear my voice is 99.5% back to normal, which is a load off of me. I don't like involuntarily sounding like Christian Bale's Batman. Now, I admit being able to mimic him due to having the lower timbre voice does come in handy at some points in life, but being stuck that way is no fun. That said, I'm an idiot. Those of you who have watched the last few have known that I've been struggling with finding a portable camera because this is an iMac. I can't take this to do oral histories or look at historical markers, historical buildings, and other things like that. There are, I don't even know how many historical markers within probably 30 miles of my house. In fact, probably about 12 miles away is a TVA project. I actually did a paper with photos and everything on this football stadium. It's in the town I grew up in, and until college, and really until about 2009, when I was 32, and I left that town when I was 11, I didn't know it was a TVA project, and I've loved history since high school. And I found out that we had a TVA project in my area. I was very happy. I mean, Dallas-Fort Worth, we are one of the major stops on the Chisholm Trail that led to Chicago for butchering. So there's a lot that I could do if I had a portable camera. And you'll remember, I ordered this one. And then I sent it back because this wouldn't work. And I didn't do my research and find that. That works. The problem is, and anyone who's looking at doing something where you'll have a camera with a wireless mic, this is something you want to watch for. I can tell you that does not weigh much, but you can see it's not level. That's a problem for a mic jack. What I didn't realize is that with the lavalier mic I'm wearing now, which is not wireless, I'm tethered by about 10 feet to my computer, but it came with this. This is a 6-foot extension. This works. I just tested it. The reason I even thought about it is I knew I had to have a way to not have that hanging off the back of my camera. A slight breeze would cause just some movement, even if it's minimal. You would never see it in the video. But a slight breeze would cause just enough movement to the antenna to jiggle it just enough that I might lose audio, and I can't have that. Now, if it is attached to the top, or even, since I have a 6-foot extension, or even I could find a 3-foot or a 2-foot extension, I could Velcro the receiver to the tripod. Tripod is much more stable than a 3.5mm headphone jack, or in this case, mic jack. So why am I making another I'm an idiot, didn't do my research video? And it's really because I harp on this with people. I didn't with my nephew until he hit about 14, 15, where I would ask him questions and make him come up with his own answers. But a big part of me is to do my own research. And I didn't. This stupid little thing was in that box the entire time I was having fits with my wireless mic. It doesn't work well when I use it with my iMac. Obviously, because this might move or it's just not stable. The one that came with it that has about a 3-inch extension on it, which is the same, just shorter than that, doesn't work. Apparently, it's specifically created to work with cell phones. I doubt I'll ever use it just because if I'm videoing with a cell phone, I'm going to be holding the cell phone. meaning I'm no more than 2.5 feet away from it, so the onboard mic will pick up everything. It's a great little shotgun omnidirectional mic. So I'm not worried about that. I'm just this is more in line with what I do every day. This is the tech side of me. For those of you who've been watching the channel for the last couple of months, you'll know I said when iMovie started giving me fits on the audio, I said I was going to look at other programs. Shotcut ended up being what I went with, and I may stay with it for a while. I may decide to learn something else. Good Lord willing and the creek don't rise, I would love to be able to do this full time. I'm already thinking of who I can reach out to in the area that would be able to do an interview and talk about the history of a courthouse or the history of a stadium, anything like that. I mean, I know that for the most part, the TVA project stadium I know of, I've already done a lot of research on it. The Chisholm Trail, for crying out loud, when I was a kid, my parents were photographers. My father was a professional photographer in DFW, and he and I crawled all over the rooftops of the Fort Worth stockyards, getting pictures of the Chisholm Trail Roundup. Pioneer Days is really the biggest thing now, but that's really just kind of what Oktoberfest has become. It's a drinking festival. Not really too interesting anymore. But if I could go to, an inauguration, even if I'm holding the camera, the mic on board this camera is not the best, but if I could hold the camera and, have the receiver on a Velcro style wristband where it's there and I use a wireless mic, you're going to get better quality. So if I could go to, say, CPAC or a GOP convention or an inauguration or a swearing in or anything like that, those are events that are of pretty historical significance, even though they happen so often, because it is the passing of a torch, or it is the people saying we want to keep this person who has been leading. And that is the ultimate goal, is to be free enough time-wise and financially to do all this. And part of that for me is, and always will be, the tech. Even if I eventually give up on this, which, that's a little $70 camera off Amazon. Not by any means high quality, but it came with a remote control, which is a major plus, because that means I can be 6 feet away from it by a historical marker and stop and start the video. Or I can set it up. I love to cook, and I love to mess with recipes. Once I get my house done, I could set it up on a tripod and actually go through a recipe and be able to stop and start the video, because who wants to watch a bolognese simmer for 30 minutes until it thickens and you can blend it? I do, because I'm cooking it, but if you watch cooking shows, they break when they get to points where, and now we wait. So, that's the whole thing with having that remote control. And I know there are better cameras that have them, but they are prohibitively expensive at the moment for me. This is really just an update, really kind of saying the channel is returning within about 10 days, that the channel will be expanding, and I'll be doing a little bit of traveling in the area. I don't have to go more than about 25-30 miles one way to do anything, and be able to interview people who have seen amazing things. Think about the sheriff of Dallas or Fort Worth, or, Tarrant or Dallas or Johnson or any of those, where they're dealing with what's going on in the world right now. Being able to travel and maybe interview them. Or there's a police officer in Fort Worth who spends his off time dressing up as a superhero to visit kids. Being able to interview someone like that would be amazing. Especially if, we could set up at, a Waffle House in the back where nobody is, or anything like that. So this is really just an update to let you know that finally enough of the allergen junk has been knocked out of the air, and the pipes are 99.5% back. I don't feel the rattle. You might hear tiny bit, but I don't feel it, which is good. That means I'm not going to wear out as fast. And that means I'm going to be able to do those 20, 25-minute history videos. Once I get into the actual meat of American history, Revolutionary War, War of 1812, Civil War, World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, even Grenada, even little things like that. Those aren't quick videos. And I need to be able to talk for 25 to 30 minutes, even if I know I won't be talking for an hour after, so that I can make that video. Because if I leave for an hour and come back, I don't remember where I was, or I don't start off right again. Being able to just quickly stop and start because I need to sneeze or cough or whatnot, that's different. And that's why I like the setup I have here, where I can have my mouse right here beside me, and all I do is a mouse tap. And it stops. Another one starts back up, and I don't have to worry about it. With this camera, with the remote, I can do the same thing. And I can tell you, if there's one thing my dad taught me really well, it's how to jury rig stuff. I mean, it's how to use that good old Southern engineering to figure out a way to make something work. I think one of the best examples I've got of that, my sister, when she was in high school, my aunt and uncle had just moved in to a new home. Beautiful home. My aunt always had a beautiful yard, and they had a backyard, and my sister said, "This is where I'm getting married." Fast forward to the wedding, and they have a pool. That presents a little bit of a problem when it comes to where will people sit, where will the minister be, all of this. My dad and granddad, with no plans, simple measurements of the pool, built a bridge that for a photo held well over 1,500 pounds of people, probably over 2,000 pounds of people, and not a creek. It was so well put together we had to have a chainsaw to pull it apart so we could put it back on the trailer to get it out of there. But that's what he does. I mean, he just figures it out in his head and does it. And I've grown up watching that, so I can tell you, even if I can't find, thank goodness, even if I can't find the little bit that goes there that would hold my wireless receiver, doesn't mean I can't find a way to do it. So the regular videos are coming back soon. I am going to go back through my research, make sure and clean up my notes so that I can start doing that. And I hopefully we'll be able to record, 2 or 3 in a weekend. I don't know that I'll be able to really do much road tripping for the next couple of months, just because it's still hot as all blazes during the heat of the day when the light is good. And by the time it's not hot as all blazes, it's windy or rainy, and then by the time that's gone, it's cold. And I don't mind cold, honestly, but cold with wind is not fun, and cold is not good for tech, just like heat is not good for tech. So those videos, out and about, may take a little while longer to come up, but oral histories, if I could find a VFW where I could set up in a corner with a cooler full of Dr. Pepper and say, I want to record oral histories, and talk to people who have seen and done things that the vast majority of the planet will never have the opportunity to do. I mean, Gary Sinise is doing an amazing job capturing the oral history of World War II vets, because sadly we're losing our greatest generation more and more every day. But we're going to start losing the boomers before too much longer. And then we're going to start losing others and others and others. So if I can preserve part of that and maybe ignite a love of history in others who will then continue to preserve part of that history, then that will be a good thing. I've said before, I don't expect in any way to gather a YouTube following like Demo Ranch or Lunkers or Grand Thumb, 22 Plinkster, any of them. I mean, there are channels I watch that are just still barely over 200,000, and they still put up videos. And if I could get over 1,000, I would be ecstatic. So as I said in the last video, share this one with your friends to let them know the update, that the videos are coming back and they will start being regular again. Tell them to go back and start the class time series at the beginning. Look at the other videos. Join in the conversation. The reason I do the other videos where I'm talking about a news event or I'm talking about other current events is to spark a conversation, as long as it's civil. We can disagree and discuss and debate and dissent civilly, and we need to, because that's where we learn. Make sure to like and share and subscribe. I'm doing the giveaway. I did find my copy of Fahrenheit 451. I did find my copy of Brave New World. My two copies of 1984 are in a box somewhere, but I have a half-price books close to me if I need to go find that one fast. When we hit 500, choice of one book. The choice of one book. Fahrenheit 451, 1984, Brave New World. At 1,000, two of those books. At 1,500, you get all three. I want to give these away, and I want to grow the channel. That's why I'm doing it. So until next time, everybody have a wonderful day.